Let's see. Bart, Detroit, Michigan, the great WJR country. How are you?
I'm fine, Mark. How about yourself?
Very well, my friend.
I happen to be a first-time caller, and I'm calling in regards about the high cost of gas, and I'm very, very much concerned about it because my income is about ready to shrink because of all this. And I wanted to know myself, and maybe you probably want to know as well, how long are we going to tolerate this?
Here's my concern, Bart. When I hear our government telling other governments, you got to produce more and you got to produce it faster, I'm thinking to myself, well, what are we doing?
We're not doing anything.
We're not doing anything. We're blocking more drilling. We're blocking more research, really. They're not going to put the money into research if they can't get access, for instance, to the oil shale. We're not building nuclear power plants at a rate that we need to build them. What the hell are we doing?
We're doing nothing because...
Well, the price is going to keep going up because that's what they want, obviously. Otherwise, why do they do this?
We have a stubborn president. That's what we have right now in the White House.
We have a what?
A stubborn president.
He really is. And it's very detrimental in many ways. And it's not just fuel. Food is going up. Have you been to the grocery store lately?
Oh, yeah. I've seen prices. I even went to a fast food place. I noticed that some of the Ponderosas are going up.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. They're also pushing harder and harder for corn with ethanol. Now, what do you think that's going to do to the price of food?
It's not going to do very much good.
So they've screwed up everything. We need to withdraw from this agenda. They need to give us a break. We need to unleash our industries, people that actually know what the hell they're doing, so they can produce more, we have an adequate supply, and the price will come down. But they won't do it.
Mark, can I say something about the electric car?
Yes. It's a joke.
Thank you, because I want to tell you something. I don't trust these vehicles, for one thing. I wanted to tell Rush Limbaugh this, but unfortunately I have to tell you first. And I'll tell you something. I don't trust them for two reasons. One, I don't think they're safe. And number two, I don't think they're very reliable. Because we can't only go very far with an electric car. Because one thing I can tell you is the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, I believe, has refused to even test these cars out. Because I'm worried if we get into an accident with one of these cars or we get stuck in a snowstorm, we could be dead.
I don't know about that. Here's my concern. Where are we going to get this electricity from?
That's a good question.
I mean, if we're not allowing the coal miners to mine as much as they should be, this is what is nuts. We are committing economic suicide. And you know what the electric car has become? It's become a sort of the in thing for wealthy people to have. That's pretty much it.
Can I say one more thing about
the average guy is not going to buy that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, anyway, imagine this. If you ever take an electric car on a highway and you try to go like cross country with it, I know that the Chevy Volt has been having some testing on that, but I was thinking about the thinking that some of these hotels and motels, and you have to use their electricity, I think they're going to charge you a fortune.
Well, of course they are. They have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about these brownouts and blackouts. I mean, and there's really no serious thinking behind this from a societal point of view. Instead, we have this helter-skelter push to back off. They call us, we're addicted to oil. Can you imagine something so stupid? I mean, we want a society that's progressive, and I don't mean politically, progressive economically, where you have mobility. We're not addicted to it. We get in our cars and we drive, or we go on an airplane and we fly, or we work, we put a light on. We're not addicted to it. We're not snorting it and rubbing it on our bodies. We're using it. Thank you for your call. Oh, boy, I tell you, it really is annoying. It's annoying. Then you have these jackasses like Ralph Nader and Jesse Jackson out there. They want to have a counter-revolution? They out of their damn minds? We're the ones who are pissed off and being screwed. For these idiots, there's never enough government, never enough taxes, never enough redistribution of wealth. Two morons. That's right, morons. Tom, Atlanta, Georgia, the great WGST. Go.
Good to talk to you, Mark.
All right.
Just moved to Georgia, found your show 2 weeks ago, and I really love your approach. Can't wait to read the book. Hey, with everything that's going on in Wisconsin...
Wait a minute, I got to write it first, you know.
No, you've done so many. I'm thinking the Liberty and Tyranny, but...
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Get out there and get into it. Hey, so with Wisconsin, everything's moving pretty slowly, but I wanted to let you know, since I've been down here in Georgia, you know, there are some adult decisions that are being made in the U.S. With the budgets the way they are. The state of Georgia just passed some legislation to reduce the funding for the Hope Scholarship for high school graduates that go to college in Georgia. They used to get a free ride if they got a 3-point in high school. Now they'll have to pay like 15%, and they'll have to pay books now. And then DeKalb County just had to close a couple schools in their district for budget reasons. Nobody likes to have to do either of those things, but the money situation is what the money situation is, and adult decisions need to be made.
Well, you know what? You're right. Everything doesn't go one way. Just because something was free yesterday doesn't mean it can be free tomorrow. Just because some schools were built 30 years ago doesn't mean those schools should exist today. And you're right. These decisions have to be made now. There's no question.
So I'm glad to be in a red state that understands those realities and is willing to make those decisions rather than mortgage my kids' future.
All right, my brother. Thank you for your call. How did it ever happen that red, white, and blue states are called red states and red states are called blue states? Can somebody explain that to me? When did that happen? I mean, you Reds out there, you should be fighting like hell to have this nomenclature changed. The blue states should be the red states, or at least pink. And the red states should be the red, white, and blue states. Mark, what are you saying? Figure it out. Carl, Boston, Internet, go.
Hey, good evening, Mark.
Evening.
My question to you is, with the turmoil going on in the Middle East affecting our gas prices, isn't it time for someone to call President Obama out on lifting the moratorium on drilling in the Gulf? If he really cared about the American people, is there not an easier way to prove it?
And there was a hearing today, and the Republicans were hammering this Salazar phony and saying exactly that. What about Anwar? We'll be right back. Carl in New York, the great WABC. Go.
Hey, Mark, how are you? First-time caller. And I was returned to your show about 2 years ago from a friend of mine in New York who's the only conservative Jewish guy I know. But
now you know two of us.
I know, exactly. But want to talk about the concerns with the electric cars and to follow up with your previous caller. No one's talking about what happens to these batteries after they lose their sustainability to produce electricity. Nickel metal hydride batteries do not have to be cycled all the time in order to perform properly, and they have a very short shelf life. So the batteries have to be disposed of, and no one's talking about how you're going to dispose of these things, which create toxins. And secondly, it hurts the resale value of the car because a 2- or 3-year-old hybrid electric car will have no resale value because the batteries are no good.
See this? This audience is great. I never thought of all those things, and you're exactly right. And you know what's even more troubling to me, Carl?
Yes?
The government pushing this agenda, it hasn't thought of these things either, and nobody has any damn idea what's going to happen to all this stuff.
If I could add one more thing, with the lithium-ion technology batteries, which presents an even greater danger because they're highly combustible, and in an accident they will explode, China happens to be the leading producer of lithium-ion batteries. So we're creating a further, export to enhance the Chinese government and not even our own government, our own citizens' technology capabilities here.
And, of course, their quality control is so great. Probably the same assembly line that makes the dog food will do this.
You're
all right, Carl.
Pleasure to speak to you.
It's a great call. Thank you, buddy. Well, that's a good question for you lefties out there. What are we going to do with these batteries, which are kaput in 2 or 3 years for the most part? And what about the value of the car when it gets older? Because the battery only has a certain shelf life, as they say. All these things. It all sounds great when they say, have electric cars and batteries, we're all going to wear propellers on our head and battery-operated socks, no electricity, we don't need oil, all that goof. Ignore these fools. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this show went quickly. You agree? We salute our armed forces, police officers, firefighters, and emergency personnel. Thank you for being with us, and I'll see you tomorrow. It's Mark Levin.